today. I am very glad that Mr. Rodriguez is allowing me to be a part of his podcast. This is a experimental deal for him and for me. So today we're gonna bring a very, very exciting podcast today. Today is the 2nd of September. For those that have birthdays today, I want to say a special happy birthday to you and this month. And I want to say to all those people that are struggling, finding difficulties in their lives, can't overcome them. I know you probably heard this a million times. Things will get better. Things are just a road bump in our paths. Things will not be like this. It'll get brighter in the grimmer days of your tribulations. Heck yeah. So today we're going to talk about these trashy people that are wanting to destroy me, dismantle me. It's beginning to be reckless, or it's past reckless. We're going to go as far as 6 to 8 years in the making of Josesandersjourneys, which is me, owner, the owner of that channel. So when I founded Josesandersjourneys, I intentionally wanted to do bar hopping. I was drunk at a bar, wanting to do things that probably would have landed me farther deeper into alcoholism. Didn't know why. Didn't care to think about it. But in the mornings after, I didn't really fall through with the plans of making a beer channel or something like that. Life got a hold of me. Jobs, doing things that normal people would do. Well, life showed me different than what I should have been doing. I had apartments. I had a house, a rental house. I had a car. I had everything that a normal functional society member would have had or has currently today. But YouTube didn't have a strong factor like it does today in my upbringing as a adult. I was working 7 days out of the week. Well, obviously there's 7 days of a week, but I was working hard, doing the typical 9 to 5 type jobs. Got myself into doing temporary agencies. Loved it. Working 5 o'clock in the morning till like the next morning. A little over 13, 14 hours. Only left me 30 to 40 minutes of sleep for 7 months. Came home, fed my dog, did the typical thing, paid bills, and then I had to leave at 5 o'clock, close to 5 o'clock, to go to jobs, go to my job. How many of you can say you only had 30 to 40 minutes of sleep every day, working 15 hours, working 15 hours for 7 months straight? Supervisors coming at me at lunch breaks because that's when I took my hour breaks to sleep. I didn't eat. Caught up on a little bit of sleep. I had coworkers wake me up before lunch break was over. They questioned me. Like, are you suitable to work? I'm like, yes, I've done my job. I've done everything perfectly. 7 months passed by. I ended up leaving my rental house because I've tried to live in it as long as I could because I knew the house was condemned and I was saving up my money. I was paying $350 a month for a dilapidated house that shouldn't have been rented out in the first place. I did the typical thing, kept my integrity, kept my pride, I kept my wits about me. Katy, Texas, Skyline apartments. I had that for 30 days. Didn't have money. Couldn't find a job. I didn't want to work in temporary anymore. I wanted a full-fledged job. That sent me homeless. I did what I thought I could do the best as I could. The best I could. Don't worry, I'll bring you guys up after I'm done telling my side of things. Don't worry. I did what I thought I did. I was correcto and whatnot. I tried to live with my biological mother. That didn't work out very well. Left me a bill of $1,200, but that didn't affect my credibility to get an apartment because apparently she did it to some family members. Shit happens. Life happens. So after the second apartment, I ended up going to Beaumont, Texas, where I was homeless for a whole bunch of months. I did the bum life, straight up, straight up bum life. Nothing to it. All my life, even today, my biological dad wasn't really a part of my life, but he had given me cars, and I fucked that up and gave it away after a while. Got tickets, unpaid tickets, no insurance and registration, and whatnot. Now, my adopted parents that I love dearly, this will have some type of play later on in this broadcast, in this storytelling. Yes, it will. So, my dad said, always told me, you do these things, but never have anything to show for it. I never look at it as monetary value. I've always looked at it as experience. I have some type of experience and what do they call these things? not experience, but like knowledge. It's the same thing as experience and whatnot. I've worked cattle farms. I worked at car lots, like for like hobby auto auctions for dealerships. I literally drove a semi to the bay. I've I've like tried everything before I became full-fledged homeless in Beaumont, Texas. One year when I turned 21 or close to 21, I realized I had to go to Pennsylvania to renew my license. And I knew I wasn't on great standing with my parents. Not one bit. Yeah, they were pissed. They had every right to be pissed because I went down to Texas to live with my biological parents. They got mad. Any parent would get mad when you up and abandon them. They got hurt. I had to deal with the consequences of abandoning people that truly loved me, truly made sure that I had the pitch perfect lifestyle that I threw away. Do I regret the things I've done? Either way, I say this, you're still going to hate me. Do I really regret the things I have done to them? Yes. But I don't allow it to beat me up. I don't. So I never really had the long distance hitchhiking experience, knowledge, whatever you want to call it. Never had it. Never. I've done maybe up to 500 miles or less in hitchhiking out of Texas, throughout Texas. When I was in Beaumont, I was I had a dog with me, a service dog, a full-fledged one. And all the homeless people were like, go hitchhiking. If you can't afford the bus, go hitchhiking. Can't afford the plane, go hitchhiking. I've never done it long distance, I told them. They were like, there's always a first for everything. So I ended up doing it. While I started to do it, I met up with an old school hitchhiker railroad rider, and he taught me the way of life. We ended up going to Arkansas. That's where he split. I ended up finding out through some people that he got killed by a train or something like that. He ended up passing away. So that tore me apart a little bit because that guy was my best buddy. We hung out for years and whatnot. So all I knew, I had 2 weeks to get to Pennsylvania to renew my license. And out of those 2 weeks, I had some freaking experiences. Like ones that one could tell all day long. One of them was I was waiting at a truck stop, at a Love's truck stop, and it was dark, just like right now. And if you're on Pennsylvania, if you're on the United States land, it's dark. So I was asking people, hey, Are you going towards Pennsylvania? Nobody was answering. This trucker looks at me. I look at him and say, "Hey, man, are you going towards Pennsylvania?" He said, "Sure am. I sure am going that way." And I said, "I'd do anything for a ride. I mean, I'd do anything, sir." So, I could see his brain churning. Don't know don't know what, but got to his truck. He says, "Hey, man, leave your dog outside." So I get on the second step of the semi, take a gander inside. I see a big ass fucking Rottweiler, nice decked out inside of a truck, and I glance at the driver, and the driver, this has really no um storytelling. Well, I'm just storytelling right now. I'm just potting, as they call it, in the internet, or should I say the entertaining industry, potting, filling in the void, or empty dead spaces, as they say. But the guy starts pressing his tongue against his inside cheek. I thought he might have been trying to like itch his cheek or trying to get some dried up food off his cheek or something. It took me about a few minutes to realize what he was doing, but between all that, he was showing his weaponry, like his nightstick, billy club, as they call it. He was showing his million-watt taser, flashlight taser. Boy, I tell you what, that gave out a smell. And he started pushing his tongue against his cheek a little rapidly, and I'm like, "Sorry, sir, I'm not gonna uh degrade myself for a ride, sir." He said, "You said anything," and I was like, "Oh yeah, I did, but I won't do that anything." So I ended up grabbing my dog and my pack and waiting for another ride to come through. Well, about 9:30 ish, this guy is asking for cash for gas. So I go up to him and says, "Hey man, I ain't got much but $10 on me. You going towards Pennsylvania?" He says, "No, I'm going to Connecticut." And I said, "Is there any way I can catch a ride with you?" Remind you, this kid must have been like, I don't know, 19, 18 years old. I didn't really ask him his age. Didn't really ask him his age. And we get to riding around, and he says, "Where is Pennsylvania?" I'm like, "A few states below Connecticut." Where's that? I'm like, "I thought you said you was going to Connecticut." He said, "I am, but I just don't know my directions." Well, if you made it this far, you're going pretty well. So I put my phone on directions and whatnot. Needless to say, we didn't make it to Pennsylvania. We made it to Tennessee, Lebanon, Tennessee, where we got pulled over. And I thought I was going to jail because this guy stole this fucking car. Like, it was a green Honda Civic. So I never see a green Honda Civic the same after that incident. And like how the cops do, they do the frisking, the searches, and all that whatnot. So he asked me, what's in this pocket? I feel some. And I said, "I got crystal." And he cuts me off immediately. His eyes gets wide open, wide open. Yeah. And he pulls it out. He said, "You didn't tell me it was a fucking mineral." I was like, "Well, you didn't let me finish my statements." And that has a little bit of relevance to the community that are the trashy ones. They don't allow you to finish your conversation. They cut you off and make exceptions. That's what that officer was doing, making an like assumptions. Yeah. So he lets me go after a few whiles, and I immediately went out to the dog and started crying like a little puppy dog. Yeah. So I ended up making it to Pennsylvania flat, a week flat. I was pretty thrilled. And, I knocked on the door and nobody answered as I was walking away. My dad comes out. So, what are you doing here? I was like, well, I came to say hi and I was letting you know that I was in town. He gave me a lecture. And I also told him I'm in town to renew my license. He gives me a lecture. Says you just don't come unannounced. You gotta tell people that you're coming. Well, our conversation ended. Needless to say, I walked off. Before I walked off, I placed the phone on the steps and walked off. As I was walking off, he calls me back. He says, your mom wants to talk to me. I'll go in there. And, I wasn't expecting to be everything hunky dory type shit because of what I said earlier in the broadcast. I abandoned my mom and dad. Yeah, everybody gets pissed off when you abandon them, abandonment issues and shit like that. Yeah, you're young, dumb, and full of cum at that age and whatnot. Ever since then, we tried to amend each other. That's when I barely got my feet in the door with them trusting me again. Not abandoning them like that. And there's a ship coming through, so don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. It's all good. The ship ain't coming to us. It's just we're going through the harbor here. So everything goes well. I was 21-ish. 21, turned 21. End up going towards Georgia. And I end up reuniting with some old friends. That's where the news comes out of. Um, the news. 22 year. Actually, I was 22. I turned 22 after. That's a whole year. Look, damn, I skipped a whole year of my storytelling here. Huh. Huh. Yeah, sure did. I sure did. So, I don't really remember after meeting up with my family, and I got arrested at 22, buying beer, I guess. 22-year-old busted for buying beer. So why am I telling you this story? It's because these little trashy assholes want to get my viewers away from me and sit you down and feed you bullshit. That's why I'm telling you this story. This is my life, my homelessness life. Yeah, I could go see my mom and dad anytime I want, but I can't live there because that's not my residence and whatnot. So, 22, I get busted. That's when I started to do. That's when I started to do. Oh, you fucking siren thing. Uh, That's when I decided to do YouTube full-fledged. And that's when Jose Sanders Journeys was formed, around 23 all the way up to current. You know, like the FBI's in town. Woo! But no, Lisa was there. I don't think Honey Honey caught that error, that time frame. But I was in Tennessee, got stuck for trespassing for 3 months. Couldn't do anything about it. Had to stay there. I pled not guilty. And then moved on from there. Had my fun. And then skip a few years, 3 years ago. Skip a few years because I don't really remember what happened other than hiking the Appalachia, traveling all the way to Kansas, doing all the fun shit that a person can ever do before they get 60 years old. And 60 years old does come fast when you're 30. Yeah. So I was creating videos, having a little bit of fun. I really don't know how Cadillac Sam at the time, that was his channel's name, Cadillac Sam, found me. I don't really know. I really don't know how I became of interest of Eddie's radar. Good job, buddies. Don't know. Um, I started to get trolled by Tally's little group. Didn't know Nikki at all. Didn't know Good Job Buddy at all. Lisa, and uh, Allison could tell you that. And that's God honest truth. They can tell you that for sure. They knew I wasn't a troll. They knew I was forming a channel off of my life. Never had trolling tendencies at all. Never did. It never crossed my mind at all. And it's hilarious how today there's not thousands, there's hundreds of people that are maliciously attacking me for something that I wasn't truly doing at all. Now, like I was saying, I didn't know Cadillac Sam. I didn't know Good Job Buddy. I'm stuck on that. Like, how the fuck did they find me? Like, what was the interest of me? And what why did I choose to do an interview? I just didn't know why. Like, for real though. I don't understand it. I really don't want to understand it. 3 years ago, two and a half years ago, was a perfect life. Never had the trolls. I saw channels. I saw news articles on YouTube. People getting swatted, and I'm like, I'm pretty glad it didn't happen to me. I'm pretty glad of that shit. 2 years. 2 years of this shit. I just don't know. There's a big why question mark. Still hasn't been answered. The only way I could get that answer is talking to Good Job Buddy, Cadillac Sam. Cadillac Sam, if you're still watching, just let me finish up. I'm almost done. I got like 10% left to talk about. So, I was really basically kind of a nobody. I was. I was a nobody. Nobody's radar, nobody's nothing. Now, here's a little thing about me, though. I had a little bit of amateur acting, and as the years progress, I put a little bit of knowledge of amateur acting together, and that's how we formed the trash talking, or should I say the trashy people. And yeah, so when I a year and about 2.5 years ago, this is when it really started. I went back to my parents, was looking for a job. I was looking for all sorts of things to financially sustain my YouTube channel until I started to get funds, and the hatred started to pour in. And I was feeding into the hatred, not trolling, not doing anything as the trashy people are saying that I'm doing. Never have done it. Never harassed anybody offline. Um, so my parents decided to go to the overseas to do a vacation for a month. You could see where I was at my parents for a month. And when my parents got back, that's when the telephonic harassments came in. I don't know how they use the spoofing app. Don't even know where they can where you can find a spoofing thing. I learned all that shit from the police. I learned the terminologies that these crooks and fucking criminals and trashy people, should I say, did. They would literally use my mother's phone number to call the house number. So they tricked me into thinking it was my mother calling or my father calling. That should tell you something. So out of respect, I have to answer it if it's my parents. That's how they trick you. And then out of nowhere, things went silent with the trashy type people. And out of nowhere, when they started to flare back up, they were blaming me for their actions. For their actions. So the hate was flaring up my view count. So I played along. Yeah, that made me look like a very bad guy, but I wasn't doing the things that the trashy people were doing. I wasn't doing it one bit. I was just in it for the view counts. I was allowing the view counts to go up because I was reaching 200, 300 views. And then that's when Nikki stepped in and said, yes, it's Jose. Then Stella, actually, at first it was Stella. Stella came in and said, yes, it's Jose. Jose was doing this. And then Nikki, good job, buddy, chirped in. And then Tyke chirped in. Like me and Tyke, we are on somewhat of a mutual standing. And we never really fucked with each other. Now, me and Tyke had fake beef. We never had real beef. We would fuck with each other, but we would know when to stop because it was all course. It was never one of them type of beef like I hate you beef. at all. But the trashy people ended up making it into something that it wasn't. Until recently, probably about a year and a half or a year and a half ago, they start making fake accounts. And they strongly use my name, my Facebook account, my phone numbers to troll the people that hates me, to dox them using my name, my reputation. And this is where they're trying to tarnish my channel, because they're the ones that are actually doing this. This is not me. I will confess to anything I do. I will. I'm not that type of person that will just fuck somebody over just to do it like these trashy people do. In all honesty. You know, like sometimes I sit down in these remote places and just wish I had normal fucking people on my channels, on my main channel. I just wish I had normalcy. And unfortunately, I am diagnosed with normal. Normal people don't get the things that these crazy lunatics get receive. They can receive checks, pills, and all that good shit. Normal people, they're fucked. Normal people get fucked in the end. They don't have any fun. They're stuck being normal. And I'm tired of it. Now, I never really had major ass beef with Stella, lipstick chick hick. Never really did until I ended up going to her place. Everything was going great. It was going fantastic. She was showing me around her family. She was showing me around her community, buying me burgers. And then she started to nitpick because I drunk all my sodas, and she failed to realize that out of the years that I've been traveling alone, and I wasn't used to sharing my food, or should I say my beverages. I wasn't used to it. And I will apologize to that. But for her to tell her friend, Betty, that I was being a squatter, that really made me think about, should I leave? Should I go? I was listening to my intuitions. My intuitions was telling me to leave, to get out of there before shit hits the fan. Any freaking traveler that travels this country will tell you, listen to your intuition. When shit's about to hit the fan, get the fuck out of there. That's the word of wisdom. When Never be afraid. Anytime you're hitchhiking, traveling the way I'm traveling, never be afraid to try something new. Never be afraid to camp at somebody's residence. Hang out with the locals. Never be afraid of it until they provide a reason for it. When, okay, Lipstick Chick Hick was standing outside the room that I was in. She was. And I hear on the speakerphone from her friend saying, well, if he when he steps outside the house, why don't you just lock the door and toss his shit out the window? That's when I decided to leave. She was doing a live stream. And this is the time when Stella and, or should I say, Lipstick Chick Hick and Nikki were going at each other. This was the time. I never once called the police. Somehow, Nikki convinced her that I called it. That was hilarious. Never did play along with it. And as I was walking out of her driveway, she was trying to usher me back. I didn't listen to Estella. I listened to my intuition. Just keep going. Fuck it. Fuck it. Just keep going. And then, as I turned on my phone to listen into what Lipstick Chick Hick was saying, and she just randomly just said that I potentially tried to rape her, was bullshit. So that's when I said, because if she can instantly say that, I wasn't thinking. I was pissed. I was furious that someone would blatantly lie and say that shit. So that's when I said, she raped me. Yeah, it was a fucked up situation. It's a fucked up situation that should have never transpired. Should have never transpired. One bit. That flew over. I let it die. I let the topic die for a while, and then Jazzy came around, wouldn't let shit drop like a little fucking child. Yeah, I know I'm getting a little aggravated on this part, but this will add up to current. Jazzy and others would question things that should never be questioned. Because adults, they leave things alone. They don't antagonize. When they know they see a bad situation, they leave it alone, like normal human beings, normal adults do in life. So I proceeded down the highway, doing my own thing, trying to do my own content, showing the world my life again, the way I lived my hitchhiking life. And then the trolling, doxing, swatting flared up again. I went to Kentucky, where I met up with I remember I met up with Panama. Panama was a cool kid. He could tell you who I am and whatnot. And then I opted to take short fuse back home to her mother. That's when I met Turtle. Turtle and I were having fun. We still talk. Then after I left Turtle, I ended up getting into a hotel. You guys clearly remember this shit. Ended up going into a hotel. Red Roof Inn. Dog lips. You ain't a perfect person either. You ain't. So, towards almost the checkout time, I get a knock on the door from management saying the cops are coming. And I'm like, for what? What did I do? Apparently, somebody said that you were choking your dog and holding your dog up against her will. I was like, I was bathing my dog and I rubbed the towel around her neck to dry it off. So the cops came. I told them that I was on YouTube and I videoed me drying my dog off. And I ended the stream to show them the video, and they're like, he was like, how were you holding your dog against her will? How do you do that? Yeah, good job, buddy. How the fuck do you hold your dog against its will? Good job, buddy. Bad job, buddy. I should say bad job, buddy, instead of good job, buddy there. That was bad job, buddy. Yeah. A little humorous joke there, okay? But farther on, that's the number one incident. Y'all try to get my dog taken away the first time. That didn't work. That didn't work. Y'all failed. 1 for Jose, 0 for the trolls and the trashy people. So y'all trying to even the y'all are trying to even the playing fields. Y'all trying to make it 1-1. Which you guys will never do because I don't do anything illegal. I don't. That's the funny part and hilarious part. So, few years pass by, and I show up at Good Job Buddy's wife's mother's house with them there. Yeah. All right. Things were going pretty well until we started doing the YouTubes. When the fucking viewers started to, the trashy people started to doing the trashy things. That shit happened. Now, he did pay $150, so to speak. I don't know if that was true or not, for the guy to come and get me. That guy was an awesome guy. That guy was an awesome guy. So, uh-oh. Hello. So yeah, like I really don't have much shit to talk about. Good job, buddy. But who am I to judge? Good job, buddy. Who am I to really dog on that guy? But I don't owe you shit. You're the one that paid that guy to come to get me, which I am kind of grateful. Now, you did lie, or you did forget to tell people that I did return the money back to you because of what Nikki has done. But yet you're still friends with Nikki after the incident of getting me kicked out of Quality Inn in Concord. Remember that? Do you remember that, Eddie? But yet you're still good friends with Nikki. Yep, you are. So that there should tell you the things that led up to current events, current time. Now, I don't know why Jesse's really attacking me. Is it because she really, 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 truly, deeply inside wants the view counts? But that's the piss poor way of doing things, Jesse. Too much for you, which you are not too much for me because I'm not putting my time and effort into something that I'm not doing. I'm not abusing my dog. I'm not doing anything. Now, if you guys want to come in and talk about this stuff, you're more than welcome. We're going to go to a short little break here. Hopefully, you're still around.
Well, I told you my whole life story from the moment I was homeless, before I was homeless, to current in 50 minutes. Could you do that? Could you under an hour? I bet you couldn't. Would a liar leave everything out of what he just said? Would a liar do that? No. There would have been a whole chunk of shit missing. A liar don't tell the truth. A liar don't remember everything. A liar would hide a whole bunch of shit. Shit. So, if you guys want to come live and speak of what you've heard against me, you're pretty much more than welcome to. I'm gonna sit here and smoke this tobacco out of this weed pipe because I ran out of papers. And don't tell me I'm going to destroy it. I did forget to mention I got Cyprus 3 years ago. Three years ago. Heck yeah. So that's pretty much what my life is. Just a big old homeless guy. Just traveling, showing his life on YouTube, and one day making money off of it. Now, when I started doing my travels, I was making money. I was making $300 to $400 during the summer. The winter went up to $400 to $800 a month. Yeah, that might not be much to the ordinary humans of the working class, but for a guy that's traveling across America, that was well plenty enough. That was. You guys should know that if you were with me for a while on my adventures. So I will leave this up for the whole entire world to listen. And if I get people, random new people, and they hear this bullshit that they hear from the trashy people, they can come to this video, this podcast, and listen to what they need to listen to. Yeah, that's all I gotta say. You gotta know me before you hear the trash. You gotta understand me before you hear the trash. I'm not out here to fuck somebody over. I'm out here to have fun with you. Out here. Share my life with you. My life stories. My traveling stories. And whatnot. So basically, this is almost like an entire length of a interview kind of stuff. Not interview, but it was more of a autobiography, video biography of my life. I've been on the streets damn near close to 13 years. Yeah, heck yeah. So it looks like nobody wants to come up, but I'll still chit chat with you. You can ask questions. Don't be afraid to type down below. Now, If you're new and you like me and you want to contribute to the adventures, all my donation links are in the descriptions of my main channel and this channel. Now, most of you are going to ask about, well, what about Slab City and the Appalachian Trail? Now, those two individuals that said that I stole from the Appalachian Trail got caught and they tried to push it off on me. I never stole anything. I've always had money within my life travels. I've always had up to 100, 400, or less, or more at any given time. I have no reason to steal. These people out here, they will give the shirt off their back to make sure you're okay. A couple of hours ago, this lady came back, gave me a meal, gave me a little jacket, gave me $20. I didn't expect that. I don't expect much. Other than that, I am just being to be quite frank with you, I'm just being pretty much stupid. Just showing my life. Showing what I want to show you on YouTube. But yet, Jose's a liar. But yet, Jose's doxing. But yet, Jose's doing all this bullshit, which I'm not even doing. All because they are envious of the viewership that I was getting, the donations that I was getting. Like during the Mike Dibble days, I never really thought I would get a chance to have him on my live stream. That one day when I got that hotel for a week, and one day I made $1,000 in donations. People were donating still throughout the Dibble days before the trial. I was happy that I was getting donations. That's when Jesse was saying, "Oh, that Chomo supporter over there is getting money." Blah blah blah. And then I'm not saying that Jesse was the one doing it, but the trashy people were doxing people. Yes, I by accidentally was pressured. I'm not going to lie. I was pressured into reading the donation list. And to those that I offended, I'm truly sorry that I was pressured and tricked into doing that. I should have known better. I do take full responsibility. But far as saying addresses and stuff like that, I have never done it. Never, ever said anything in that terms. What they did was look up your actual name on white pages and got somebody else to do the dirty work, and that's how addresses and shit got leaked. Which is bullshit that a fucking website has a whole bunch of people's names readily available, which should be illegal. That should only be done for people that are getting jobs or need background checks on them. No American citizen should have the capabilities of randomly pulling somebody's name, which is bullshit. That's how I feel. Yeah. But anyway, you guys have been fun. Well, I'm not going to drop the link because the link is actually there. If you have found this interesting and you like this conversation or this storytelling podcast channel, be our guest, stay permanently and by doing that, by staying permanently, hit that subscription bell. That will help you to stick around permanently on this channel. I want to say a special thank you to Mr. Rodriguez for letting me be his host. He was the only one that actually believed in me. He was the only one that knew that I wasn't doing anything. And by the way, Mr. Rodriguez is a paid, and not informant, but paid PI, public investigator. So that should tell you stuff. I'm not the one that's doing shit. But I do want to say a special thank you to Mr. Rodriguez for building this channel for me and let me run the podcast like if it's my own. So one day, hopefully, things will come to a closure and there will be arrest made. Hopefully. Just hopefully. And if you have forgot about the FBI's, they're still watching you. They're still trying to figure out more suspects in the swatting, doxing, and whatnot. So don't think that the legal officials have forgotten. They haven't. So keep that in your records. Eddie, as you like to call it, in your notes. In your notes. So always remember the people that you fuck with the hardest are the ones that are actually having a legal team behind them, figuring out the suspects. So I will back the fuck off me immediately. Yeah, you can call me a snitch. Fuck you, bitch. Fuck all you motherfuckers. Fucking cowards. Picking on a fucking homeless guy. And sometimes the person that you pick could have friends in high places, you dumb bitches. Yep. Go run. Go be scared. You might get that knock on your door. That officer might come and confiscate you from your house. Until then, sleep on this. Don't fuck with people that you don't know. That's all I gotta fucking say.